Hello there. It's been a while. Certainly has been, but it's taken even longer for Mr. Jonathan Cena to finally do a heel turn. I mean, the moment itself was absolutely incredible, and I do want to talk about the rest of the stuff that happened in Elimination Chamber positively, mind you, but before that, I gotta kind of give you the bad news or just talk about the negative stuff, because when we're just talking about the moments that we got to see at this pay-per-view or PLE, we're talking undefeated, we're talking GOAT status, but if you look at it from a wider perspective, things get a little bit ugly. So let's talk about the ugly before I talk about the good. Number one, the biggest thing of all time, this is a plague that has been plaguing the WWE for the past 10, 15 years now. Ever since Raw started becoming 3 hours, we've had this problem with this program. Now, how does this relate to the WWE Elimination Chamber 2025 PLE? Well, I don't remember, and I have not really researched how long Elimination Chamber took last night. I'm gonna assume it was at least 3 to 4 hours. We need this to be cut right from the middle, and we need this sumbitch to be 2 hours, okay? 2 hours is absolutely perfect. The pay-per-view model, the PLE model that I'm looking for is those golden days of NXT, where we had an NXT takeover, a perfect mix of 5 to 6 matches, title matches, non-title matches with story, men's, women's, tag team, everything gets ample time. And then by the end of the 2 hours, you're pretty satisfied, and you might even want a little bit more wrestling as we hit that 2 hour mark. But guess what? It's over. And the only thing you can do is to go ahead and tune in next week so you can see more. Amazing. With what's happening in Elimination Chamber 2025, for example, by the time it's over, yes, you're marking on for what happened with John Cena. But me personally, especially because I live in Turkey, ladies and gentlemen, I have to watch this pay-per-view starting from 3 a.m. to freaking 6 a.m. And I am a normal person. I have a 9 to 5 job that I have to get up for at 8 a.m. Thank God now they do these stuff at Saturdays, which is great for wherever in the world that you're living in, because back then things were even rougher. But the 4 hour is just not necessary regardless of who you are or where you come from. You cannot sit there and tell me that some of the matches needed those extra 10, 20 minutes of absolutely nothing or just light kicks and punches just to pass the time. You cannot tell me that we needed to have 15, 20 minutes of ad breaks plus the hype footage, the promo packages and all that. You cannot tell me that you have a 3 to 4 hour pay-per-view and you only have 4 freaking matches, with one of them being absolutely filler. The distance from the women's chamber match to the men's match felt like climbing Mount Everest for me. Okay, like that shit was so rough. By the time the women's chamber match ended, again, you had the 15-20 minutes of promo packages and ads and everything like that. And you have the Fortnite sponsorship and all the sponsorships with Prime, and the ring mat is filled with sponsorships. Also, you're sick of freaking hearing and seeing sponsors, goddammit. They say in UFC, it's never going to be UFC. By its own nature, it could be way more entertaining than UFC, to be honest with you, because as you saw tonight or last night with the PLE, your creativity is really the only thing that's going to limit you at the end of the day, as you're able to predetermine a lot of the stuff that happens in a pro wrestling ring. After that, the other things that bothered me was the beginning of the women's match for the chamber was absolutely incredible. The rest of the match, besides Bayley going crazy and Liv Morgan, shout out to her, we didn't really have too much happening, which is a shame because at a random, pointless Raw, Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez had an amazing performance against the former tag team champions, again, at a random Raw. And now we get the Elimination Chamber, supposedly one of the biggest pay-per-views of the year for more than a decade now, 2 decades. And then the in-ring action that we get in this match is very mid. I would like to see more from the women, and I know for a fact that they can deliver more, especially when we get to the next match, which was Trish Stratus and Tiffany Stratton. This was an absolute weekly episodic Raw/SmackDown match. It had no reason or business being on a pay-per-view. No disrespect to any of the women there, but hey man, I'm just speaking facts. Kevin and Sami, maybe there's a little bit of overselling, but there's no denying that they went over hell and heaven and everything and beyond to make this match as good as possible. Did it work for me? Not really. I was entertained while watching the match, but as you all know, the build up to this match just doesn't make any sense. Still, after everything that happened, it will never make sense. And regardless of how we feel or what we say, we're moving on anyways to Randy Orton and Kevin Owens now. So that's a bit of a shame as well. And as for the main event, the men's chamber match, I really don't have much negative things to say, I'll be honest with you, besides Drew McIntyre getting rolled up and pinned, being the first one to be eliminated from the entire match. If it was me, Drew McIntyre would be in the last three. Before we got to CM Punk and John Cena, Drew McIntyre would also be there. And then, I don't know, I would love to see something crazy, something very creative to make Drew McIntyre look like an absolute beast throughout the match. And then he just gets eliminated by a very creative idea from both Cena or CM Punk. Doesn't matter. But the fact is, he got eliminated the first. And besides CM Punk and John Cena, man, on the microphone is an absolute beast. He looks like a beast. He walks and talks like a beast. He can never back it up, though, when it comes to do the big deal. And this is why I feel so, I'm going to use a Cody Rhodes word here. It feels so apropos that Drew McIntyre returned to the main roster all those years back with Dolph Ziggler. Because the way he's being booked right now, I thought Jey Uso was going to be the next Dolph Ziggler. But no, man. As he says every single week and every single time he has to cut a promo, they thought I couldn't win the Royal Rumble, loose. But I won the Rumble. And look at me now. That's all he says, right? And kudos to him. He did what he said he was going to do. Just like how CM Punk said he was going to destroy Logan Paul in this match. He did that. Drew McIntyre has been saying he's going to do all the stuff. And every single time he gets embarrassed. I do not know why they are booking Drew McIntyre this way. I genuinely hope they have a good plan for him. But it's hard to see him bounce back and do anything too meaningful when John Cena, as a heel, is now at the top of the company. And to be honest with you, that's all the negativity I'm going to be able to bring here for this pay-per-view, because other than that, let's start with John Cena, man. This is exactly what every single one of us wanted. John Cena looking like a badass, acting like a badass, not pulling any punches, not making clown faces and overacting and just annoying us, making us ask the question, why are you here in the first place? Every single thing that happened in the Elimination Chamber match and afterwards was, besides excluding Travis Scott, oh man. I can't believe he decked Cody Rhodes in the face for real. That was insane. But other than that, everything was absolutely perfect. Now, what happened before, I'm never going to forget, man. The whole year that was basically wasted on Cody Rhodes' title reign. Some people were making a claim that he's like one of the worst WWE champions of all time. And I couldn't counter argue with them too much because the man literally did nothing for the whole year. But finally, I can easily say that with this moment, regardless of what happened before, he's better than most champions because he had the insane WrestleMania title victory. And now something meaningful, something that we've been legit waiting for a year happened. Now Cody Rhodes has meaning again. He has purpose again. We have a reason to care about Cody Rhodes again and get behind him. And by the way, I never thought that Cody Rhodes was going to turn heel because WWE was just way too on the nose with the references and the way Cody acted. So I was looking at Drew McIntyre maybe pulling off a surprise. CM Punk, out of everybody, being the one to sell his soul and be a corporate shield, even though he has the favor. So it doesn't make too much sense for him to do that. Use the favor to get your way instead of selling out. Maybe about a month ago, especially after the Royal Rumble, with the way Cena talked and his whole demeanor at the press conference, I was saying to all my friends and all the podcasts that I'm a part of, I'm like, man, I think John Cena, he's literally saying, I'm going to turn heel. Guys, hello? I'm about to turn heel. And I felt a little crazy because none of my friends even remotely believed that he was going to turn heel at all. Or if they did, maybe give a monochrome of belief to that idea. They were like, man, even if he turns heel, he doesn't show up at all. He's not doing anything cool. He's overacting. if this is the Cena that we're gonna get, I don't even want to see him turn heel. And then WWE threw us the weird Rock promo, and then they did this and that. And as they did all of that, we completely, at least I completely forgot about what John Cena did at that press conference. And all the ideas of him actually turning heel were kind of pushed to the side. They are rather good at playing with our perceptions, I'll give him that. So much like the majority of the people, I was also in the same boat. Up until John Cena shook hands with Cody Rhodes and gave the look to The Rock, and The Rock started doing the hand signal to go for the kill, I was not expecting anything to happen at all. But then I just felt it. I just felt like some evil stuff brewing, and it was great. It was, I don't freaking know, 6 a.m. in the morning, and I was watching with one friend, and we were just going crazy. We were going crazy. I didn't care if the neighbors woke up or if he got beat up, how much noise we did. Man, that sounds paused, by the way, without context. But yeah, The Rock took like 10 minutes to get into the ring. I was fighting so hard not to sleep, especially because John Cena won the match and we thought the paper was basically over. The Cody Rhodes was just going to decline at most and we were going to go home. Cody Rhodes saying, go F yourself to The Rock. Like, this is the stuff that I've been expecting from Netflix. Now you're not tied to a television station anymore, not national television. You don't really have to abide by insane restrictive standards, censorship. It's not necessary. It doesn't mean you can say fuck all the time, but man, we're on Netflix. We're on a different platform. So let us see the difference. Let us see the difference. Don't tell us that we're on Netflix. Show us that we're on Netflix. And that moment right there was exactly that. A lot of people, myself included, immediately got a flashback of Hulk Hogan turning heel and forming the NWO. Whether you think that's accurate, right or wrong, that's up to you. Regardless, this was just one of the greatest moments of all time. I used to live in Toronto up until last year, actually. That's how I got to witness John Cena announcing his farewell tour in Money in the Bank when he made a surprise return. And that was like my first wrestling show, legit WWE show, I should say, that I went to ever in person. I wish I stayed in Toronto one more time. I would have been at this Elimination Chamber show and I would have got to see this history-making moment live with my boys at Kiss the Ring. Would have been amazing, but regardless, behind the TV screen, it was still extremely effective. By the way, quick shout out to Jade Cargill. She looked amazing. Like, she doesn't even look human. She looks like a legit larger-than-life movie freaking cartoon anime character. Hopefully she can back it up in the ring as well. But that moment with Naomi and Liv Morgan, that was pretty freaking good. Although I thought Bianca overacted a little bit, and by the end of the match, like, she was crying as if she was like traumatized, like her home world got destroyed right in front of her. That's like the way she was reacting, like she was gone, man. Absolutely traumatized. But by the end of the match, when she won it, she was like super happy. She almost forgot completely about what happened in the beginning of the match. That was, I think, a little inconsistent. But hey, going back to the main event, John Cena winning guarantees us Cody Rhodes versus John Cena, which I love CM Punk. He's maybe my favorite wrestler of all time. Who knows? Shawn Michaels is also up there. But Cody Rhodes and CM Punk just didn't have that WrestleMania main event feel. John Cena and Cody, however, especially a heel John Cena like we're seeing right now, that's a whole nother ballgame. And we can go to so many places with this right now. Seth Rollins is the reason why CM Punk lost to John Cena. By the way, even though the all John Cena is gone now because he's a heel, I feel like we still kind of have him in spirit in CM Punk, because the amount of finishes that this man kicked out of was insane. It would put Super Cena to shame. Honestly, like, what? This was, again, higher than Super Cena. Maybe Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns at his big dog prime, where it was just absolutely overpowered era type stuff with Cena. Like, how is he kicking out of everything? I thought that was insane. And he still has his favor. So will he go after Seth Rollins? Will he go after John Cena regardless? Will he go after Cody Rhodes and try to take that championship? More importantly, will he want to finally reach his dream of main eventing WrestleMania? Winning on losing doesn't matter. He just wants to be at that main event. To be real with you, I feel like CM Punk, I do wish him to be at the main event, but a triple threat WrestleMania main event, it's not like we have not seen that before, but a one-on-one super personal match rivalry, honestly, that feels right for night 2 of WrestleMania main event to me. We got a lengthy amount of back and forth with CM Punk and John Cena throughout the match anyways. We've seen that already. So perhaps they can save Cody Rhodes or versus CM Punk, or CM Punk versus John Cena, the new WWE champion, the corporate champion, for a later date. By the way, I do feel like Cody should lose the title as well and get it back sometime later, but it'd be better if John Cena was the champion during his last run and Cody was on the chase for a while. And for that to happen, I feel like the first night of WrestleMania, we might have a similar situation to last year. Roman Reigns could team up with Cody Rhodes once more, and then they could take on The Rock and John Cena, even though The Rock seemingly is not gonna actually step in the ring and wrestle like he did last year for this WrestleMania, but we'll see. You never know, especially with the freaking Rock. You literally never know. I doubt he knows exactly what he's gonna do. But then again, looking at everything that just transpired at the Elimination Chamber PLE, you can't say that this was unplanned either. But yeah, while Cody and Cena and The Rock are doing that, I feel like Punk is gonna go to that rumored match of Roman Reigns, CM Punk versus Seth Rollins, the crazy triple threat. He's gonna stay away from the Samoans and the Cody Rhodes saga at WrestleMania. After that, then he's gonna join in and do his stuff, I feel like. But then again, that favor could literally be anything. Paul Heyman has close ties with the tribal chief. We still haven't had an official segment where Roman Reigns is against The Rock. That line hasn't been clearly drawn yet. And you look at what CM Punk and Roman Reigns did at that War Games match. They basically kind of mended everything that happened in the past. And although they're not buddies anymore, they don't hate each other as well. So they are in a position where they could potentially be a tag team. So instead of Cody, Roman versus yada yada, it could be Punk and Roman versus a team that The Rock puts together or he himself is in. I don't know what exactly is going to happen, but all those options sound really entertaining, really fun. And we're super close to WrestleMania now. I wish we had something like this happen with more good things following it way earlier. Also, scarily enough, we might not get too much of a build-up to WrestleMania with a lot of John Cena, The Rock showing up. Even though we only have 4 weeks left, like they might just leave us hanging with Cody Rhodes coming out and saying absolutely nothing, cutting all the meaningless promos just to pass the time so we can get to WrestleMania. But I really doubt that they're going to do that because 4 weeks is a short time. I feel like they're going to go all gas, no brakes up until the end of WrestleMania. With that hope and assumption, I'm going to say that the top story is taken care of now. And that means we're going to eat good because, I mean, everything else in the WWE has a lot of problems, a ton of problems. And all of those problems were piling up and were becoming way too obvious, painful, and unavoidable because for years we had Roman Reigns and the Bloodline storyline, which was absolutely incredible. It always carried all of the shows. So if all the stuff below the main event was kind of mid, you didn't really care because at the end of the day, you were going to get a great moment, a great match, a great segment. But again, with that anchor gone, man, it was painful. This whole year was painful. I nearly quit watching wrestling. I definitely stopped watching weekly shows. I'll tell you that. I stopped watching weekly shows altogether. Raw, SmackDown. I mean, NXT is still good. TNA is still good. I look at New Japan from time to time as well. But like watching Raw and SmackDown, like I completely stopped. And if it went on like the way it did before Elimination Chamber, I might have stopped watching the WWE entirely. Just taking a break, maybe coming back months later to see what's up. And I really wasn't alone in this sentiment. So things were kind of getting dangerous in that sense. But now we just have this insane Cody Rhodes rejuvenized, John Cena as a heel. The Rock finally freaking did something that makes sense instead of being the final Diddy. We got Randy Orton returning, Jade Cargill returning, potentially going to feud with Bianca or Naomi, who knows. By the way, Bianca Belair winning was very obvious, but it was also the right choice. Besides being predictable, she needs to go back to that main event level. Depending on what they do with Randy Orton, he could affect the big storyline with Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania as well, or beyond WrestleMania. And all this is stuff that I can take seriously. It's stuff that I know I will have fun watching and trying to figure out what's going to happen next. Instead of getting depressed knowing that we have matches like Jey Uso and Gunther to look forward to at WrestleMania. So this was an insane turnaround by the WWE. 180. I went from being completely disinterested at WrestleMania for WrestleMania to saying, now I gotta watch it no matter what. So we'll see what happens. I really do wish that stuff like the women's championships, the tag team championships, the mid-card championships were also taken care of. Maybe not to this level because that's pretty much impossible, but with higher care and more exciting storylines. I wish they didn't rely completely on The Rock and John Cena. That the show overall was good no matter which part of the match card you pick. Like you just pick something satisfying and good to watch. That's not the case, unfortunate. And it leaves a lot of questions and worries of, okay, once this is done, once the whole Roman Reigns and the Rock saga is over, what in the blue hell are these guys going to do? What's going to happen in the WWE? When you start thinking about that, I think it kind of gets depressing and scary. But for the foreseeable short-term future, things are looking quite bright. But I don't know about you. I will not forget the bullshit that they had us sift through, suffer through for an entire year, for the WWE Championship, for the World Debate Championship, for every single feud. It was not good. It was not good. And 1 week of amazing, I'll give all the credit in the world, amazing. Just one show of amazing like moments, the heel turn and whatever. I can recognize that's one of the greatest moments of all time, incredible, but I can also recognize looking at the bigger picture, we do have some problems here. And you can fix tomorrow by finding short-term fixes, and that just because you shine like a really bright light over here, I'm not going to be completely distracted and forget all the bullshit that I can see over here. Whatever, you get exactly what I'm trying to say. I don't want to harp on and be too negative right now, especially because everybody has high spirits. I don't want to crap on that because then you will crap on me. We will talk about all these issues at a more appropriate time. If that time comes, hopefully it doesn't, but if the last year especially is any indication, all I can say is enjoy to the fullest everything, every small segment, the good shit that we're getting right now, because we might be starving for the next year, for the next 10 months after WrestleMania. Okay. I don't know if the microphone picked that up, but my upstairs neighbor just was banging on the floor. Damn, that sucks. It's like midnight right now, so I guess talking loudly too much. This place has no sound isolation. That's great to know. I think I'm gonna have to move to a new house. Anyways, before I get beat up, stay classy. I don't know if I'm back, if I'm gonna regularly post videos, but we'll see. Okay, I'm out of here.